online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, this is iRadio Afternoon News. First, here are the headlines. A lawmaker representing Mayom County in Unity State says close to 20 people have been killed in an ambush on a convoy that was heading to the country. The police in northern Bahr al-Ghazal state are investigating the killing of a primary school teacher by armed men in Will East yesterday evening. And authorities in Akobo County of Jonglei State say more than 13,000 returnees and IDPs are in dire need of food assistance. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Helen Samuel. Now the news in detail. A lawmaker representing Mayom County in Unity State says close to 20 people have been killed in an ambush on a convoy that was heading to the county. Honorable Stephen Ball says 3 others were wounded during the attack that occurred during the morning hours of Tuesday in an area called Ajakwach at the border of Warrap and Unity State. Honorable Ball says 3 land cruisers that fell into an ambush left Juba for Mayom County 3 days ago. He spoke to iRadio this morning.
That incident happened yesterday around 8 morning. There were 3 land cruisers who left duty here 3 days ago. They were heading to Mayom County. So, in between area called Ajakwach, which is actually the borderline between Mayom and Warrap, there is a river called Lol River that known as Warrap. So those land cruisers fall into the ambush, and then the 3 land cruisers were burned twice, and about 19 people were killed. 3 others were seriously injured. This is how that incident happened yesterday.
State authorities are yet to comment on the matter. When contacted by iRadio, the Army spokesperson Major General Lulroy says he is aware of the attack but waiting for a response from SSPDF leadership. The police in northern Bahr al-Ghazal state are investigating the killing of a primary school teacher by armed men in Awil East yesterday evening. The state police spokesperson Captain Got Akol said Deng Akwe was attacked and killed on his way from Zion Primary School in a village. Akol told iRadio that the teacher was shot dead in Yar Achot, an area in Awil East County by 4 unidentified men. The motive behind his killing is not clear, but police have opened an investigation to establish the facts behind the atrocity. Captain Akol urged the residents of Bach and Warawar to assist the police with information leading to the tracing of the culprits. He spoke to iRadio this morning from Awil town of northern Bahr al-Ghazal.
In the evening of 26 July 2022, at exactly 3 p.m., a teacher at Zion Primary School in Majanga Corner, Willis County, called Deng Akwe, 24 years old, was mercilessly attacked on his way to the village. Deng was reported to have left Wanjok in the afternoon after he delivered his services to the students as normal. Reaching to a small forest between Bach and Warawar, the area called Yarachot, he was mercilessly attacked by 4 unidentified men. He was hit on the neck and felt unconscious and was burned. Police, however, has opened a wider investigation to establish the fact behind this atrocious and mysterious killing of innocent servicemen. We therefore call general public, more especially the residents of Bach and Warawar, to assist police with every information that will help in finding the fact about the tragic and organized crime.
The murder is the second of its kind in Awil East County. Last year, 5 women were arrested in connection with the killing of a fellow woman at a water point in Yarakwet village. Authorities in Akobo County of Jonglei State say more than 13,000 returnees and IDPs are in dire need of food assistance. This is according to the head of the Relief and Rehabilitation Commission in the area. The County Commissioner of RRC, Guy Chwal, told iRadio that 12,728 civilians who returned from neighboring Sudan and Ethiopia are on the verge of starvation. Chwal added that more than 700 persons displaced by floods were also battling hunger. Speaking to iRadio yesterday, the RRC official says the civilians have resorted to desperate means of survival.
Returnees, the one of 12,729. These are the returnees. And then the IDPs is 707 left for some years. This food issue is the critical one that community media in Akobo and is one need to be advocate to all humanitarians to assist these people. Second thing is the peace building. So in order to reach the people who are very far from the town, people who normally misunderstand what people talk about. Like, for example, when we had this issue of food being suspended, a lot of people think different. So some people decided to rub things on the road, whereby it's not good at all, and it's good also for people to take message to those people that let's live in peace and harmony.
Mr. Chwal said more than 40,000 other needy people recently received their food rations for the first time in 4 months. Following the outbreak of the 2013 civil war, dependence on food aid provided by humanitarian agencies have increased due to the vulnerability caused by destruction to people's livelihood. In June, the World Food Programme estimated that 8.3 people will face hunger in the country this year. The shortfalls in funding leading to aid cut to 1.7 million people in June by WFP also exacerbated the food insecurity. Recent climate shocks such as severe flooding in especially Upper Nile's region and inadequate rains have also complicated the growing food shortage. You are listening to news coming to you from iRadio. The wives of detained teachers in Lake State have called on the government to release their loved ones whom they said were in detention for nearly 2 months without charges or trial. Last month, primary and secondary school teachers were reportedly detained after they staged a peaceful protest at the state parliament. Some teachers were allegedly detained for rejecting salary and demanding an increment, but some were later released while 6 remained under detention. Yesterday, the detained teachers who were at Panda Military Prison were moved to Rumbek Main Prison without any charges. Despite spending more than a month under detention, no case has been opened against them, but have continuously remained in prison. According to SEPO state coordinator, the state authorities are yet to take them to court. Meanwhile, the families of the detained teachers cried out to the state government to release their husbands. The women say they have not been given a chance to see or speak to their husbands since they were detained. One of the wives, Yar Ater, the wife of Majak Nial, says she learned about her husband's detention from people outside. She tried to reach out to the husband but was denied access. As a mother of 5 children, feeding the children and taking care of their medical bills and other necessary needs has become hard as she doesn't have any external support.
When you are stranded as the wife, you go to your relative's house to borrow food to give the children. Sometimes we go for 3 to 4 days without food. Getting something to eat has become really hard. The husband is the provider of the family, what to eat, hospitals, bills, and everything. If the husband is not there, then it's really hard for the wife to handle everything. The government is the one that knows everyone's mistake, and if they have done any mistake, they should tell us. We are really confused about what to do. You should tell us if they have gone. You should tell us if they have gone wrong. The government is quiet. What do you want us to do? What is it that you're not telling us as their families? Why do you want to make us suffer with our children?
For her part, Cholhok Pagarau, the wife of Emmanuel Mapor, says she has been left to depend on relatives and neighbors to help feed her children.
With the
wives that have been left with the house responsibilities are really suffering with our children. Now the children are staying without food and there's no one to provide for us. When the man of the house is not there, the outsiders don't really care. They arrested them when they had gone for demonstrations. When we heard, we were told they were at paramilitary prison and they've never been taken to the police. When we asked what they did wrong, they chased us away. After some days from June to April, they now took them to the main prison.
The two women fully depend on their husbands to provide for them their family needs, and since then things have become harder for them. They now want the State Minister of Education, who is said to have given the orders for the teachers' detention, to release their spouses. And lastly, before the international news, the juvenile court in Juba yesterday indicted 4 youth on charges of culpable homicide in the death of a young man during a gang fight in 2020. The youngsters, Nyethkon, Dud Aping Paul, Ayom Santino Akech, and Awiej Ajoidot were charged with killing 18-year-old Yen Mach Nabil at Jebel Denka Market. According to Judge Francis Amum Awin, the accused are members of the notorious gang group known as the Best Rich Gang. The judge says the prime suspect, who is also the leader of the Best Rich Gang, Nyeth Kon, attacked the deceased Yen Mach Nabil, a rival group member at Jebel Dinka Market. The late Mach, affiliated with the so-called One Blood group in Jebel Yesua, was accused by the offender of having had sex with the wife of another man. The quarrel led to the deadly gang fight where the deceased was slain with a panga. He died in July 2020 due to severe head injuries. The police then arrested 7 people from both sides of the fighting. In his ruling, Judge Francis Amum indicted 4 youth on charges of homicide in accordance with Section 210 of the Penal Code Act 2008. Sorry for that mishap. The court also freed 3 teenagers after the prosecution failed to provide evidence against them. Section 210 of the South Sudan 208 Penal Code Act says whoever causes the death to a person by any negligence means commits the offense of culpable homicide and upon conviction shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life or for any lesser term or within a fine or with both jurisdiction of the Juvenile Court. You are listening to iRadio News, and now to the international news with my colleague James Atem.
Momo is a life with Momo. 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 Momo, atare situ better boom, better boom. It is struggle fi Medina. Yala answer MTN mobile money. Ijibula itafusa. Alam guru staki wele bi wodu. Alam guru staki wele bi seregu. Delena trust MTN mobile money.
Welcome to the International Stories with me, James Atem. Sudanese security forces on Tuesday killed at least one person while dispersing anti-coup protesters in the capital, Khartoum, and other cities. In a statement, the Central Committee of the Sudanese doctor said that the protester died after he was hit by live bullets in the face. The group accused forces of the coup authorities of killing him during anti-coup protests in the city of Omdurman. It said so far 16 civilians had been killed in protests against the coup. Their threats to skip a televised presidential debate on Tuesday night that was organized by media owners ahead of next month's elections. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, one of the two frontrunners, and George Wakoja had separately expressed reservations about the formality of the debate. Deputy President William Ruto, the other frontrunner, and David Maure Wahiga turned up for the debate, but each stood alone answering questions after the withdrawal of their respective opponents. Finally, the U.S. Justice Department is examining Donald Trump's actions in connection with efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election, says U.S. media. Federal prosecutors have reportedly asked witnesses directly about the behavior of the former U.S. president. So far, they have chosen not to open a formal criminal investigation into Mr. Trump himself. Rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol on 6 January 2021 in an effort to overturn the president's election defeat. No former U.S. president has ever been indicted for criminal conduct.
Thank you, James Atem, for the roundup of stories from the international arena. And now to the sports desk with Moyo Jacob.
Good afternoon, Mama Helen. England reached their first major women's tournament final since 2009 in stunning fashion as they put 4 past Olympic finalists Sweden at Euro 2022 in Sheffield. The Lionesses, who extended their unbeaten run to 19 games under manager Sarina Wegman, will play either Germany or France for the ultimate prize at Wembley on 31st July. It was a thrilling match from start to finish at Bramall Lane as Sweden piled on the pressure in the opening 25 minutes, only for England to dismantle them with ruthless finishing and a touch of class. Substitute Alessia Russo once again produced a moment of magic when her instinctive back heel made it 3-0 to England only 11 minutes after her introduction. In transfer window, former Liverpool and Barcelona striker Luis Suarez says he has a preliminary agreement to rejoin his first club, Nacional, in his native Uruguay. The 35-year-old is a free agent after leaving Atletico Madrid when his contract expired this summer. Suarez's return to Nacional is expected to be until at least the start of the 2022 World Cup in November. In a video on social media, he said details would be finalized and we hope to reach the agreement we all desire. West Ham have signed Italy striker Gianluca Scamacca from Sassuolo in a €30.5 million deal. Samaka joins the Premier League club on a 5-year contract with the option to extend another year. The 23-year-old was the second highest Italian scorer in Serie A last season with 16 goals from 36 games. And finally, England's Dina Asher-Smith has withdrawn from the Commonwealth Games with a light hamstring strain. Asher-Smith pulled up with an injury while competing for Great Britain in the women's 4x100 meters relay final at the World Championships on Monday. She had won bronze in the 200 meters at the event just a few days before, and she needs a few days off to protect the minor problem. Asher-Smith came third in the 200 meters at the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast 4 years ago. End of the sports news, and back to you, my colleague in the studio.
Thank you, Moyo Jacob, from the sports desk. And you are listening to iRadio News. And to end this bulletin, here are the headlines once again. A lawmaker representing Mayom County in Unity State says close to 20 people have been killed in an ambush on a convoy that was heading to the county. The police in northern Bahr el-Ghazal state are investigating the killing of a primary school teacher by armed men in Awil East yesterday evening. And authorities in Akobo County of Jonglei State say more than 13,000 returnees and IDPs are in dire need of food assistance. And that's the end of iRadio Afternoon News. If there is a story or an event you like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on Twitter at iRadio Juba. Like our Facebook page, iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 1:30. I'm Helen Samuel. Thank you for listening.